Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
So,
Ayman, I think I'll try to share the slides that I have. So just please let me know when you want to move from one slide to another.
sure, done.
Um, okay, thank you so much. So before we begin, let me just introduce Mr. Ayman al-Battashi. He's one of I would say, you know, extraordinary people who graduated from our campus. He belongs to the 2010 batch, studied international communication. And Ayman, he's well educated and also experienced in corporate communication, internal communication, etc. He's also familiar with a lot of areas in public relation and in communication in general, including content creation, campaign management, and social media as well. Um, so currently, Ayman is working as a corporate and digital marketing specialist at Khimji Ramdas. Okay, okay, Mr. Ahmed, Mr. Ayman, uh, uh, the floor is yours.
Yes. Today, inshallah, we'll be exchanging knowledge, information about corporate communication, types of corporate communication, channels used, you know, basically corporate communication. And also, I'll give you, so instead of just looking at it from a theoretical point of view, I hope that my voice is clear, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so instead of looking at it from a theoretical point of view, let us look at it from a
Mr.
practical.
Khimji, can you make your voice more louder?
I hope it is clear now.
Yes, Ayman, it's very clear.
Okay. So so today, as I mentioned, we will look at corporate communication and types of corporate communication from a practical point of view. So I'm not going to go in depth about about corporate communication because I'm sure that Mr. Sami has given enough details about this. Uh, and also, lastly, we'll speak about key skills for corporate communication specialists. What kind of skills that you need to be that you need to have in order to become a corporate communication specialist. Please, next slide. So let's start with, I'll just give you an overview about corporate communication. So corporate communication, when we talk about it from a practical point of view, you basically, deal with, different kind of communications inside and outside the company. Uh, you know, in the company that I work in, of course, there are so many types of corporate communication: internal communication, external communication, PR communication, crisis management. Okay. Also, CSR, which is corporate social responsibility, is part of corporate communication. But in the company that I work in, we only have three types of communication. Anyhow, we'll speak about this later on. But let me just give you a simple background about corporate communication from the way that I see it, or from the way that our company see it. So first of all, it's about managing communication, as I mentioned, inside and outside communication. So you basically handle messaging to employees, customers, media, and stakeholders. This is one. The other thing, building and protecting company reputation, which is very important. This is, I would say, this is the main purpose of having corporate communication within the organization. So you basically try to through messaging, through different kind of channels, you try to protect the company reputation. You make sure that whatever kind of communication that goes out is meant to be improving the company's image, or people how people receive your company. Okay. Uh, Also supporting business goals through communication. Now, every organization, every company has its own goals and objectives. So through the communications that you use, okay, or that you disseminate, like to the outside world, it needs to be aligned, with the company's goals and objectives, okay, and there has to be consistency. It should not, like, you communicate something inside the company, and the communication that goes out is not consistent with the communication. So there has to be consistent. There has to be harmony. Whatever you communicate inside the company, it has to reflect also in the outside, outside communication. The same thing. Whatever you communicate outside, it has to be in line with whatever you also communicate internally. The last thing, which is really very interesting, it's an interesting thing about COVID communication, which is handling crisis. And also, this is again one of the key reasons of having COVID communication within organization. So whenever there is a crisis, happen, or something that goes beyond the organization, like I would say a sentiment on social media, like maybe something bad news about the company that goes viral on social media, or maybe something, I would say, false news about certain product, certain service, or I would say one of the normal people say something bad about the company, which is in reality, which is not in reality. So you need to kind of handle these things, with the right communication and with the right with the use of right channel. Please, next slide. So when we talk about corporate communication from a practical point of view, or from our company, or from the company that we work in point of view, as I mentioned, we have only 3 types of communication, of corporate communication. We have internal communication, external communication, and something to do with CSR, corporate social responsibility. So first of all, let's talk about internal communication. Now, internal communication is important, and from the name itself, we can understand that this type is communication that is done within the organization. So you basically, as a corporate communication specialist, you are meant to maintain good communication between all functions inside the organization, or between all the departments within the organization. So you try to build employee engagement through newsletters, through word mouth, town halls. Okay. Also, you need to kind of be strong in helping the top management in drafting, like maybe announcements about something new, about for example, I would say a new to make announcements about certain update, announcement about certain, for example, I would say maybe there is an update, in HR policy, organization culture, philosophy. All these things need to be communicated internally, and you as a corporate, as a corporate communication specialist, need to be able to communicate this perfectly. So you need to use the right messaging, and also need to use the right channel. Also, in case there is a change in the management, for example, new people have been hired in the board, or top senior people in the board, have been hired. So this also need to be communicated. So again, for example, also restructuring, for example, a new head to be hired in one of the departments, or internally. Some of the companies, they also publicize this, and so on the social media channels. Okay. But usually it is meant to be communicated internally. Okay. For us, we don't actually publicize. For example, if a new CEO is hired, we don't usually publicize it, and that is organization choice whether to publicize it or not. But for us, we don't do that. We just publicize it internally. Also, training materials. When I talk about workshops, I talk about training, development training. As a corporate communication specialist, you need to be able to kind of communicate these materials to the employees, internally. Culture building, of course, recognition. Okay, recognizing employees' achievements, recognizing employees' milestones. Okay, let's move to the next slide, please. Mr. San, can you move to the next slide, please? Okay. The second type of corporate communication that we use internally, or I mean, in our organization, is external communication. Now, external communication is opposite to internal communication, although they are connected. Because as I mentioned in the beginning, that whatever you communicate inside, it has to be in line with whatever you communicate, internally. Because communication, every company needs to have its own communication strategy. And this communication strategy has to be consistent across, like, internally and externally. Every messaging, every communication has to have, the same kind of, I would say, the same kind of tone of voice, the same kind of messaging, the same kind of, I would say, the way you communicate with your employees. It needs to be also it needs to be reflect how you look to the outside world. Okay. So external communication deals with public relations, press releases, media relations. Okay, you need to build good relationship with media people. Brand communication, which is really important. You need to build good, brand. The brand image needs to be built based on strong foundations, and this can be done through effective communication, marketing communication, through campaigns, social media, also crisis communication. And I would like to stop here. I'll give you one very good example. Anyhow, I have dedicated one slide just to give you, I would say, an idea of how corporate communication is implemented in our company. But here, you remember the, terrorist incident that happened in Muscat, in Wadi Kabir area. And the reason I want to talk about this, I think you remember very well if you were kind of following Arabis Royal Oman, I mean, ROBs over social media, especially, I mean, on X platform. The way they handled the event, they started with reassuring the public that everything is fine, that everything is under control, and just to reassure the public that there is nothing, kind of, they should not panic, okay, and everything is being handled. Then they started with giving more kind of, details about what's happening. Then lastly, they actually announced, they gave like clear announcement about what happened and what has been done. So the way they handled this event is it's a crisis. It can be named a crisis. Imagine if this wasn't communicated to the public. Of course, there were, rumors started, going out, gossiping, people started sharing false news on social media. So this is one of the roles of external communication, or having effective external communication, that you deal with crisis. So instead of leaving it to the public, just to share false news, rumors, you as a corporate communication specialist, you need to handle this. And what Arabi has done during that incident, I think it was a lesson for many organizations. Okay, Customer communication, of course, you need to handle, sentiments, you need to handle, customers' feedback about your product, services, of course, basically, on social media or any other platform. Next slide, please, Sam. This is the third type that we use in our organization, CSR and sustainability communication. We have a CSR entity named Ishraqa. Now, Ishraqa, recently has been announced as a foundation. We used to call it, Khimji Ramdas development arm, but now it is an officially foundation. So the current name is Ishraqa Foundation. So it's basically this CSR entity handles the social social work. We support communities, we support youth, women. Also, we support NGOs, non-profit organizations. Of course, we help them, financially, also in kind. Okay, so CSR and sustainability communication deals with, of course, sustainability reports. We circulate or we publish, a report yearly, just to show, things that we have done throughout the year, and also we show how our environment initiatives. So since we are a group of companies that we deal with so many I would say sectors, retailing, infrastructure, projects and logistics, we also focus on sustainability. We focus on initiating sustainability events. That's to do with environments, conserving the environment, and how we contribute to reducing, for example, that initiatives that to deal with protecting the environment and making sure that we reduce whatever things that harm the environment. Partnerships, of course, as I mentioned, NGOs, community organizations, and last, cause marketing. So now cause marketing is something to do with campaigns. So there is, for example, one social cause that we support, okay, through partnering with the NGOs, for example, like handicapped association or early intervention associations. Let's move to the next slide, Sam. So here on this slide, I have dedicated this slide just to give you a quick implementations that we use, and these examples actually are part of all types of communication that I have mentioned: internal communication, external communication, and CSR sustainability communication. CEO email to employee, for example, if our CEO wants to send a message to all employees, as a corporate communication specialist, I have to be able to help him draft this email or this message. Okay, employee newsletter. Of course, in this newsletter, we internally have a weekly newsletter where we circulate important updates, important events happened throughout the week. Intranet announcements. We have an intranet, it's a portal, internet portal, where we also circulate important events, news to do with the company. Crisis communication to staff. So for example, during Corona, this is actually an example of internal communication. So during Corona, the board of directors came out and made announcements to all employees, just to reassure them that everything is fine, everything is going to be under control, their salaries, benefits are not going to be affected, and this was important. Press release and for new product, for example, for new product launch, media interviews and briefings. We organize interviews with media okay, or with important figures in the company in the country, just to kind of maybe just to share some important information about certain projects that we do that we do with government companies. For example, if there is a project that is being executed with the government company, we ask media to come to organize interviews with the people, with the senior people involved in this project. Public crisis communication, of course, if there is a crisis, we kind of send or we make announcement on social media just to handle the crisis, just to make sure that this crisis is not affecting the company. We actually, this kind of communication will have to be true. We share true information, and we make sure that whatever we share is not going to affect the company's image. Corporate social responsibility, as I mentioned, report. We publish a yearly report showcasing all the things that we have done. I mean, in terms of social causes, in terms of social initiatives throughout the year. Next slide, Sami, please. Here, I have dedicated this slide to just give you what kind of skills that you need to have to become a good corporate communication specialist. Business writing and editing, of course, it's important. You need to develop good skills, good writing skills. Media relations, you need to build good relationships with media people, journalists, for example. Crisis communication, this is also very important. You need to be able to communicate rightly during crisis. You need to use also the right channel. Internal communication, of course, when it comes to internal communication, you also need to be able to communicate effectively with employees, build good relationship with employees, and make sure that you help them kind of understand the culture. I mean, the organization culture, philosophy, policies, etc. Stakeholder communication is also important. Stakeholders, you need to build good relationship with the people, with customers, with media people, government entities, etc. Of course, there are many other skills that you need to have. For example, digital marketing, also social media management, also there are some technical skills that you need that you may need to develop. Design, for example, designing using some designing tools like Photoshop. Video editing also, maybe you need to develop your skills in video editing, like using one of the video editing tools like Adobe Premiere, etc. So all these things actually will as you grow in your professional professional career, you'll be able to kind of refine it, and the more you kind of deal with different kind of communications, the better, or the more you kind of gain, the more you gain knowledge, and be able to kind of help your organization, get better, I would say, better image, and kind of become, I would say, strong in terms of reputation, and in terms of how people receive it, in the outside world. I think this is the last slide, right? So thank you for this. I mean, for attending this session. I hope that I have kind of exchanged with you something of usefulness. And please, if you have any questions, I'm really happy to. I'll be really happy to kind of to share my knowledge.
Thank you so much, Ayman, for this fruitful presentation. We really appreciate your insightful talk. You've shared with us your kind of knowledge and experiences that you, I would say, accumulated over the last 10 years or so in corporate communication. It's also good to have you with us today. Inshallah, this is the first and won't be the last session that we do together. Okay, so Ayman, you did actually walked us through corporate communication, the definition of corporate communication, and you stressed the importance of taking care of the company reputation, handling crisis, why we need corporate communication during difficult times like crisis. You mentioned COVID-19, for example, and how Khimji Ramdas senior management handled the crisis by having an open dialogue and communication with staff. You went also and elaborated on internal communication. I think Mr. Marwan will talk more on that aspect later on. Again, employment engagement is one of the things that we try to achieve when it comes to internal communication. So basically, the kind of communication messages that we send or circulate internally within the organization using different means of communication, be it email, be it face-to-face communication, meetings, etc. I really like the example you give Ayman, which is the Royal Oman Police example, and how did ROB deal with the crisis that we had, unfortunately, here in Muscat. You walked us through the crisis life cycle. How did they responded? The initial response was to, of course, to reassure the public that they are taking care of everything, and they are trying to investigate what did actually happen. And then they came out and share information with people regarding the accident or the crisis. So that was a very good example to give from Oman. Then I think Ayman, you moved on to talk about CSR and sustainability communication. And again, Ishraqa Foundation. I think Ishraqa Foundation is one of the good examples to give when it comes to corporate social responsibility. It is one of the, I think, milestones for Khimji Ramdas. Okay. You concluded with the practical examples of the kind of corporate communication tools or methods that we use to keep our both internal and external publics informed. And you also stressed the importance of having both external and internal communication aligned. They should go hand in hand. That's again very, very important because we aim for consistency. There should be a consistency in terms of communication communicated by the company, both internal and external. Right. I really like your last slide, encapsulating the key skills that our students or graduates should have before they join the marketplace. So one of these key skills, I would say, is social media management, since we are moving online. And today it's very important for not only communication practitioners, but also for experts to be able to create content. So content creation is another evolving area in communication at large and in public relation in specific. Okay, so I mean, I think I don't really have any kind of questions. If anyone has any question, again, feel free to ask. Anyone from the audience? Is there any questions you'd like to ask? Here we have Khalid.
No, thank you. I think everything is clear in terms of the skills and the demonstration of it with examples. So I think everything is purely clear. It was a really good, elaboration from the Mr. side.
Okay, thank you, Khalid. Okay, and thank you so much again for your fruitful session. And I think now let's just move to, again, Ayman, feel free to stay. Okay.
Thank you.
We are doing
Thank you very much, Sami, for summarizing, the points discussed in this session. And I'm really happy to be part of, this. I mean, today's session, and hopefully I have kind of exchanged something of usefulness to the students. And wishing them all the best in their study. And yeah, all the best.
Sure. You really did, actually. Again, thank you again for sharing your knowledge and experiences. And as I mentioned, this is the first and inshallah going to be the last session. Again, it is the first time that we are doing a series of public relation related online sessions. And inshallah, next semester, inshallah, we will have more than 4 or 5 sessions to be delivered per semester. So thank you, Ayman, again. Catch you later, inshallah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Okay, all the best.